Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're deconstructing one of the most powerful and, let's be honest, misunderstood forces shaping our world: artificial intelligence. For all of human history, we've been the ones driving technological change. But AI? Well, it feels like we're writing the very first chapter of whatever comes next.
And that's a pretty stark warning, right? It's from one of history's greatest minds, Stephen Hawking, and it just perfectly sets the stage for what's truly at stake here. We are building machines that are poised to change the world faster than any technology that has ever come before. So when we talk about AI, we're bombarded with images from sci-fi movies. We see all the headlines and the hype, but what are we actually talking about? Let's peel back that first layer and figure that out. So let's start with the AI that we all know, the tools that are already, right now, shaping your world today. Okay, this is a really crucial distinction to get right. On one hand, you've got narrow AI. This is basically all the AI that exists today. It's an incredibly powerful tool for one specific task, like playing chess or recognizing your face, but it can't do anything else. On the other hand, you have artificial general intelligence, or AGI. That's the theoretical, human-like mind that can learn and adapt to any task. And I have to stress this, that part is still pure science fiction.
So what's the engine driving all of today's AI? It's machine learning. The best way to think of it is this. Instead of a programmer writing out every single step, they sort of act like a digital farmer. They just plant the seeds, which is massive amounts of data, and the computer learns on its own, basically growing its own program to reach a certain goal. This is the secret sauce behind everything from self-driving cars to mapping the human genome.
And this learning happens in two main ways. The most common is supervised learning. It's kind of like using flashcards with a kid. You show an AI thousands of pictures that you've already labeled cat, and it starts to learn the pattern. Then there's unsupervised learning. This is more like sending a detective into a room full of clues with zero instructions. The AI just has to find the patterns all by itself. But what happens when this learning process becomes a total mystery, even to the people who created it?
Well, that brings us right here, inside the black box. This is the huge, huge problem of not really knowing why an AI makes the decisions it does.
So here's the issue. The creators of a really advanced AI can see the data that goes in, and they can see the answer that comes out. But the process in the middle, the how, with millions of digital neurons all firing, the internal logic is often so complex that it's completely impenetrable. It becomes a black box, even to them. And you can imagine, this raises some profound questions. I mean, how can we trust these systems? How can we hold them accountable for their decisions? In really high-stakes fields like law or medicine, if an AI makes a life-altering choice but can't provide its reasoning, our whole structure of justification and trust starts to fall apart.
This experiment just shows how fragile and, frankly, how alien an AI's thinking can be. Researchers took a picture of a panda that an AI correctly identified with over 99% confidence. Then they changed a single pixel, a change that's totally invisible to a human eye. The AI then identified the image as a gibbon with that same super high confidence. It proves the AI isn't seeing a panda, it's just recognizing a brittle statistical pattern that we can't even perceive.
This next layer we're peeling back, it reveals something that is deeply human and also deeply problematic. See, AI systems learn from the data we give them. So what happens when that data is just a reflection of our own flawed, biased world? Well, the machines end up learning our worst habits. This powerful idea for mathematician Cathy O'Neil really frames the danger perfectly. These aren't just minor glitches. When we take the ugly truths about our own historical biases, hide them inside these black box algorithms, and then pretend they're objective, we create systems that can perpetuate and even amplify inequality on a massive, automated scale. And this raises a really critical question. Who is actually building our AI-powered future? According to a report from 2018, only 22% of AI professionals around the world were women. Now think about that. When the teams building these technologies are so uniform, they risk creating a future that reflects only their narrow slice of the world, baking in bias from the very beginning. And here is exactly how this plays out. Imagine a company wants to build a fair hiring tool. so they train it on their last 30 years of hiring data. But what if that data shows a history where they mostly hired men for technical roles? Well, the AI learns a pretty simple lesson. Being a man is a key indicator of success. The result? The system systematically launders historical prejudice and passes it off as objective mathematical truth.
Okay, so now we get to the ultimate questions. We're moving from the practical stuff to the really profound questions that AI forces us to ask about consciousness, control, and even our own existence. I mean, this is the ultimate philosophical question, and it fiercely divides scientists and thinkers. Is consciousness just a really complex process of neurons, or in this case, circuits, firing? Or is there something more? The honest truth is we can't even agree on what consciousness is in humans, let alone figure out if we could build it from scratch.
So when it comes to the future of AI, there is absolutely no consensus. The debate is basically raging between two extremes. On one side, you have thinkers like Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking calling it an existential threat. On the other, you have leaders like Jeff Bezos and Rodney Brooks, who dismiss the doomsday scenarios, saying we're entering a golden age.
So, after all the technical challenges, the ethical minefields, and these massive existential questions, what does it all come down to? Well, it comes down to this. We are designing our future, and the final choice is ours. The central takeaway is really this. The challenge of building better AI is completely inseparable from the challenge of becoming better humans. The algorithms we build are just a reflection of the data, the values, and the priorities we feed them. AI is a looking glass. It forces us to confront our own societies, our own biases, and our own hopes. And so, this is the question we have to leave you with. As we design this revolutionary technology, we're also, in a very real sense, designing ourselves. So as we stand here, in front of this mirror, what do we truly want it to show us? The choice for now is still ours.